Okay, we're good. We're rocking, rolling, rolling. Dennis, I thought you might want to do a live or something while I was gone.
No, I
No,
decided not to do anything until you were back.
I understand.
It just didn't really feel right, I
Didn't
guess.
didn't feel the same.
Right.
I got you. I understand. So
All right.
what's been going on Masonically here in Texas for the last 3 weeks?
Elections?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a secretary.
You probably will be for the rest of your life. Congratulations.
Well, I don't know because there were some people that didn't want me to be secretary. I don't, I'm just not that likable, I guess.
Mm. What's up, Bob Naylor? Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I have
Maybe
a.
it's because I follow the rules. Maybe it's because I support my, you know, master of the lodge and, or support the lodge, I should say, not just the master of the lodge. I support the lodge and what it wants to do. So the lodge doesn't speak up against something, then I'm going to support what is being done.
There you go. Well, I'm pretty excited about one of the lodges in one of my districts. It was the furthest lodge in this district. In fact, it really was one of those lodges you kind of wonder why it's even in that district. It's just so much. It's closer to other lodges in other districts. And they had a worshipful master, like the same guy for 3 years, and it was out of necessity, not out of like he's doing a great job or anything like that. And they are selling their building, and they're going to be sharing the lodge that's much more central in town. And a good friend of mine, who's also a Mason, he got elected to worship master of that lodge, and so it's like a blank slate. And so I'm going to help him. We're going to really try some new things with that lodge. China. I've seen small towns that have two lodges in one building and they don't usually do well because they're doing the exact same thing. So we're going to really experiment with differentiating within the laws of the Grand Lodge of Texas, of course, but doing something to really make it unique. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's definitely good for sure.
Yeah.
And for multiple reasons. So being able to have that opportunity to try something different is great
Mm-hmm.
with, without a bunch of naysayers. I mean, that's even better. But being able to see firsthand the merging of or the sell of a building and moving into another, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what needs to happen. It's not it's just
I agree. Too many lodges just throw in the towel and just say we'll just merge and
or
just.
well, not even, and that's not even what I'm saying. I'm okay with merging,
Mm-hmm.
but what I'm saying is consolidation is important. Consolidation of resources.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I agree with you. I guess I kind of jumped the gun on that. I like to see them trying to share if they can, and preserve what they can, and if that doesn't work, then yeah, absolutely should merge. Or if you're just in such a situation, then yeah, but something needs to be done for a lot of lodges, one way or the other. Either
Right.
either merge or do some kind of consolidation like that. I feel like merge is kind of the, I mean, yeah, merge is kind of the. It feels like the nail in the coffin for a lot of lodges, and sometimes it is. But I agree that something has to be done because this lodge has been. I don't want to be negative, but it's been a zombie lodge in our district for probably like 10, 15 years. I mean, it's been bad for a long time. So it's good to see something changing.
Well, there's lots of lodges out there that are zombie lodges, and it's kind of like Victory Lodge has really become quite a great lodge and is a great example of a lodge that was just chugging along doing the same old, and now they hosted a summit this last week.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just, yeah, that's badass. And a lot of lodges, like, I'll be a speaker at in Guadalupe, well, in Seguin at what is it, Guadalupe, um
Guadalupe Lodge.
yeah, Guadalupe Lodge, and a lot of lodges are doing that now. They're breaking out of their shell, and they're not doing the same old same old.
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I hate the most about um, Freemasonry is just seeing minutes and bills all the time.
Yeah.
That's not Freemasonry. That's just business that has to be done to keep your 501c10. That's not business that should be done, or that's not what should be done in a lodge setting. And so, um, I mean, it has to be done in lodge setting, but it should only be like this much
Mm-hmm.
of this much of the meeting, right?
Yeah. Well, we dedicate far too many meetings to that, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like we've discussed before, you can handle most business within a few meetings throughout the year, as long as you're using committees wisely and have an agenda and take care of business. Yeah, and that's one of the things that. So I'm not a member of this lodge yet. I'm just helping, but definitely bringing in speakers. Definitely. So their stated meeting time is actually 5:30. It's already. I mean, it's already a done deal. So they'll have their meals and everything after the meeting.
5:30.
Yeah. So they'll meet at 5:30, have the meals after, have a presentation and stuff like that.
A presentation after the dinner.
No, at the dinner.
After.
At the dinner.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, that's nice. Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, yeah, scratch me out the list if you need a presenter, because I'm not going to any lodge at 5:30 to.
No. It'd be a that way. That way we have time after, because this is also a lodge that is voted to allow like alcohol and things like that. So that's another thing they're going to experiment with, is having your meeting and then afterwards having a meal and maybe sitting around enjoying some spirits or
Yep.
something like that with a presentation.
Yeah, that'd be nice being able to have a drink while you listen to somebody present.
Mhm.
Were you gonna say something, Jason?
No, I mean, although I had not heard of actually having a stated meeting that early, and and when I said that, I was like, man, that would be a really interesting way to present it to the lodge, as in, okay, look, 5:30 for those that can make it, we're going to get the business that we have to get done, and then for the rest of you that you know are working or may not be able to make it. I mean, we kind of do this with AMD, but to do that at a Blue Lodge, to say, hey, the important part is coming afterwards,
Station, yeah.
and stuff like that. That to me, that's a lodge that is looking towards the future, as in, like, we're gonna make this. If we're gonna make this meaningful, we're gonna emphasize what we really think is what guys are really coming for, and we'll get the business done as we need to, but the important part is the education,
Mhm.
the fellowship, and stuff like that. So,
Well,
which lodge is doing that?
not a whole lot of them, at least not
I
here
mean,
in Texas.
which one were you talking about, though?
Oh, the one I'm talking about doing this, it's going to be Hubbard Lodge. It's going to be
Okay.
meeting in Hillsboro in their building.
Gotcha.
Not that we're a religion, so I don't want anyone to get confused by this analogy, but I look at it like almost like a church. People go to church for spiritual fulfillment, right? But churches still have business meetings. They have to have these things to run. Just because you're a member of the church, you might never attend a business meeting. You should. It's
But
encouraged.
they don't have business meetings at 11 o'clock on Sunday. They have church.
Yeah.
They have worship. They have praise and worship, and you're learning from a lesson,
Yeah.
a lesson from the preacher. So, I mean,
Yeah, that's the difference. The value is not in the business meetings. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. The
Yeah,
value
yeah.
that the church provides isn't in the business meetings. The value that a lodge provides isn't in the business meeting. Should people attend? Absolutely, but have an agenda, have it early, get it knocked out, and then 6 o'clock, that's when dinner is, and it's catered, and like that's when you want to for sure be there, because there's going to be food, and it's covered by your dues, and there's going to be presentations, and it's going to be a time to actually fellowship with your brothers and learn something Masonic.
yep. Speaking of this topic, it's perfect that you guys are talking about that. The quote of the week that I wanted to bring up was one by Albert Mackey, and he says the ultimate success in Masonry depends on the intelligence of her disciples. The ultimate success in Freemasonry depends on the intelligence of her disciples.
Mm.
And so if you're not learning stuff, if you're not learning about what you're a part of and what the lessons that you went through mean, you're lacking in the intellect that's going to help you build a stronger inner self.
Sounds like that's another, man, it's going to sound really elitist, but that's another thing you need to be mindful of when someone's trying to join. It's not just about being a good guy. I mean, if they're a dingleberry, then
Well, I mean, there's several things we should be looking at when it comes to people joining the fraternity. But I think one of the most important things is their desire to actually learn to improve themselves.
Mhm.
That's the most important thing. To learn and improve ourselves is our priority one. Priority one. What's the first thing? Priority one. So
yeah, I agree.
it's just right there in your face. Just
That should be one of
laying
the
it
first
out,
things they
just
teach you.
laying
Huh?
it out for you to play it out. Should be one of the first things they teach you. But anyways,
Yeah.
I'll
yeah.
get off that soapbox. Well, no, I won't get off that soapbox because it's been too long. We hadn't been here in a while. Guys, I am so glad y'all are here. I am so happy. I have been missing this part of my life, and I am so happy to see you all here. Thank you for showing up tonight.
Something else, not to be a dead horse, but
Oh, we like beating dead
yeah,
horses.
something I was considering is if you're going to go down that path, you're going to be a lodge that allows alcoholic beverages either before or like can't do it before, but like after lodge or things like that. Then we always talk about really slowing down the process, right? Like really guarding that west gate, being careful about who you let in. All the more reason, and all the more reason that your potential members are coming for several months and attending as many things as you can. Because if you allow drinks after the meeting, and they're chugging like 10 of them, they're not a good Mason. They're not a good fit for the culture of that lodge.
You know, one of my favorite, prospect pools is in at Hillcrest Lodge. And the reason why is because they meet outside a lodge and they meet at different establishments that do offer beverages. And so you get a good sense of who somebody is after they've had a few.
Mm-hmm.
And not just listening to their words and hearing what they have to say, which is telling in itself. I mean, y'all listen to me all the time, but actually watching them and watching their mannerisms, where are their eyes going when they're sitting there talking to you, and what are they focused on? Are they focused on that little blonde in the corner, or are they focused on the conversation? Are they, slapping the waitress on the tail end or whatever? Are they making lewd comments? I don't want any of that in my fraternity. I'm sorry. I mean, it's guys can be guys. That's great. That's all fun and games. But when I'm talking about improving myself internally for what's to come someday, man, I just don't want to do it filling it with those kind of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to help me get anywhere. In fact, it's going to set me back if I were to do those things.
Well, that's on the lighter end of what could be. I mean, they could become very abrasive after a few drinks, or very. You can really tell a lot about a person's personality, like you're talking about. Like the filters come off after a few drinks, and like any kind of bias, racism, any
bigotry,
kind of hate, bigotry,
that's
like it all comes out. And some people don't take much, but if they can't handle it, and if they start spilling their guts and it's not Masonic stuff that comes out, then that tells you a lot right there.
Yeah.
Especially if that's part of the culture of your lodge to go out and have a drink or something after the meeting. Then because you could say, well, it's just because I had a drink. Well, either when you come out with us, you don't have it like you have like a What's that red? What's that drink? The non-alcoholic thing. Like oh gosh.
Oh shit, I don't even know
Yeah, I
any
don't
of
know
those
either.
drinks.
But get something non-alcoholic or just don't join at all.
A mocktail.
No, I
Like
can't
an
remember what
O'Doul's
it's called.
or whatever
No, it's like
those.
a red, like a little fruit
Not an
drink.
O'Doul's. That's a movie,
It's
isn't it? O'Doul.
something Kadeem. Kadeem always gets it. I
O'Doul's
can't remember what it's
rule.
called.
He always gets milk.
Kadeem?
Yes.
He gets it's like a girl's name. I can't remember what it's called though. It's like a
Oh,
little
a Shirley
red fruit.
Temple?
A Shirley Temple. That's what he gets.
Oh my goodness. I love Shirley Temples. It's 7-Up and cherry, or Sprite and cherry.
I was like, I couldn't remember. I knew it was a girl's name.
Oh my gosh. But I've seen him drink milk a lot, so he loves milk.
Does somebody good.
It does. It does.
So what's going
But
on?
yeah,
with
that's
Do it.
stuff.
What's going on with everybody else? Daniel, Cody, Jason, Josh.
I gave a first Masonic presentation yesterday outside of my lodge
Very cool.
Awesome. Where at?
at Richardson Lodge. They did a little summer solstice event. It was more of
Yes, I saw that.
yeah. So did it there, and it was good. It was on the summer solstice and continuing to seek light. So yeah, went
Nice,
pretty
man.
well for a first time, I think.
Well, that's
Very
awesome.
cool.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, that first one's always a tough one to do.
Yeah. Now you're going to be the go-to guy.
Hopefully
We'll
one
see.
of them.
We'll see.
They'll have you back for the winter solstice.
Be careful. Well, nobody will be there because they'll all be at Hillcrest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, hopefully that does get you on the path. I tell you what, nothing has helped me more in my Freemasonry than giving presentations, because I study more.
Forces
I study
you to.
more on study more on the things that I want to speak on, and try to make it relate. It's not just quoting a bunch of quotes like some people like to do when they present, but what I like to do is put what I've got in my head, match it with lessons that are already in Freemasonry, and try to make it relatable so that people can relate to the lessons that are being told.
Well, it causes you to be more introspective also,
Yeah.
which is a huge aspect of growth.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, and after giving it, I'm like, oh man, there's like 6 things I want to get better at. So that was good too, right? Like a good moment of like, oh, here's where I want to improve this and improve that. So
Very cool.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah, I do that after every I still do that after every talk. Is I think about what I could have done better, missed opportunities. I think about things that I could have said or should have said when the questions were asked.
Mhm.
In fact, it's helped me write some better papers and presentations by doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. And Dennis, I took a note from your page from your notebook, and had a printed out copy of it and said, hey, here's basically what I gave. It's not exactly what I did, but
Yep.
here's what the foundation of it was. So y'all can have that for the minutes, or
Yes.
do with it what you will. But here it is for you to have.
Yes. That's awesome. There's been more than one occasion that I've had the brothers ask me, hey, can I have a copy so that I can, share it with this brother or that brother? And, I just always send them back to the secretary, say, hey, just, he's got it. Just ask him to scan it and send it to you.
Yeah, I definitely agree that if you present something, if you give enough presentations, especially if they're all on the same line. For example, I've given many presentations about dues. Then you really know what to expect. It's almost funny, in kind of a sad way, that you have like these archetypes in your lodge, and they're always the ones that like, hey, you got one archetype, so it's like, well, this is gonna run people away, and then you got one archetype that always stands up all like red faced and butthurt, like, well, I can't afford $20 a month, stuff like that. And so if you give, well, that money's pretty emotional, but if you even if you're giving things that aren't really emotional, like summer solstice, for example, you do it enough, you can tell that there's going to be certain types of questions. So you can cut it head off with your presentation itself, or just have formulated answers that are
That's
more in line with
yeah,
what you think they should hear.
yeah. I try to put it in the presentation.
Yeah, I usually do too.
That way they don't get a chance to talk. Just kidding. I always open up for discussion afterwards, but I do try to hit off some of the things in the talk, and that way it does stop some of the back and forth that happens over, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to call it, because I don't want to be too mean about it, because the way people believe are it's very personal to some people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just had a brother that decided to no longer be our treasurer at my lodge because we wanted to raise dues.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to sound too
A treasurer
too
that
rough.
want to be treasurer over financial stuff.
That's right.
Okay,
Wow.
That's right. We wanted to raise dues and raise degree fees, and his belief was to live off the teat of those previous to us, and just do with the money what we will, and as long as it doesn't come out of our pockets, right?
yeah. Well, sometimes you kind of gotta trim the fat.
Well, it makes you think, was that the right person to be the treasurer?
Uh, I mean, living off the teat financially is not a very good financial decision. So you might not want to
No.
deal with your money.
Well, he was very successful in life. I mean, he really was, and he's retired. Well, now he has rental properties and stuff, but he's been very successful in life. But as far as his associations, which is what he thinks of Freemasonry, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't think of it as of
To him, it's like
being.
Lions Club or something.
That's exactly right, because that's one of the things I brought up. I said, man, I pay $40 a month to be a Rotary member. He said, well, I pay that too. But really, it was the bank that paid that. It was my boss that paid that. And it's like, oh, well, that's why.
Yeah.
Because you always had somebody else pay your bills for you.
Well,
You didn't want to pay them yourself.
I'll say this also when I was doing financial advising. Um, Someone may be successful from the outset, that like this is a doctor, and then you get sitting down with them and you're actually looking at their finances with them, and it's not pretty. Like they have nothing, right? Like it's all just it's just going all over the place. So just because they look successful doesn't mean that they're smart with their money.
Well, he's very frugal. You have to ask his wife if you want to get any money, even if it's for a fundraiser or whatever. It's all you have to ask his wife. He won't spend any money.
Wow, nice. What's up, Scott?
Glad to see you.
Yeah, man. Figured I'd get on and say hey to you guys. I hadn't seen you in a while.
It's been a minute. How are things over in
Yeah.
College Station?
Good. Got a lot going on this week. I get installed Saturday.
Ah, nice.
We're being installed as.
Master.
Oh,
Full master. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we're closing Lodge of Sorrow on tomorrow.
Well, that's
So
exciting.
It's gonna be Adam's wrapping up his year and he's about done.
Very nice. Let me ask you, is it your tradition at your lodge to open up the Lodge of Sorrow if somebody passes, or just at the beginning of the year, blanket?
It's usually somewhere around the beginning of the year. We don't do it. It's been done in the past the same day at installation, but the last few years we haven't been doing that. It was just, hey, if we've got to, um, we'll do it if we have to. Like if something comes up, which happened when my junior warden year at Brazos Union, and the time that we were like, yeah, we'll open it at a later time, and then sure enough, in that little time period, yeah, we had to open up one quick. Three of us had to run up there and go open it. But
Right.
yeah, I'll probably just open it. I don't know, sometime next month. do it then. But yeah, I'm not gonna do it on Saturday.
Nice.
So
No reason to bring down the mood on something that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
correct.
that's a good
Yeah, and
point.
we're gonna go there, eat, do the installation ceremony, and then um, head out somewhere afterward. Go celebrate.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
Yeah, in Goliad, we wait until somebody passes before we do. And this past year, we didn't have to. Josh's year, he didn't have to open or close a Lodge of Sorrow, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
It's been a long
Mhm.
time coming that's happened.
Yeah.
But fortunately, Goliad, we're so tight knit that it would be easy to run up to Lodge and get it done. If it was necessary. So we have enough brothers that are willing and able to just run up there one night right after work or whatever and do it to it.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be a fun day, man. We'll get all that done, and Brad's gonna come do it, and we're gonna go celebrate afterward, and we'll go from there. So
Very nice.
yeah.
Man, you're
Brad,
going to have the grand secretary install you. Awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I asked him a while back to do it.
What, 5 years ago?
It might have been. It was probably when we were still
DGMs?
DDGMs. Yeah, it might have been right before Grand Lodge that year. I think I asked him
Nice.
because I was around the time I was being asked, um, if elected, will you serve?
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
That's funny.
So yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you
Uh,
have to do with, once people get into the groove of service up in the Grand Lodge level, you got to ask well in advance to be able to get them
mhm.
yeah.
to go to any event pretty much.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it. I got a good line of officers. I got a kick-ass secretary and treasurer. It's
We
gonna be awesome.
You got a great
Good.
lodge in general, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll do a great job.
Brother Olivier volunteered to be Tyler. I was like, all right, man. But that's kind of a tradition thing for us. Uh, outgoing master goes to be Tyler.
I
That's
believe
how it's
that's the
been
way it
recently.
should be. Yeah, that's the way it should be. They know everybody, and they can. Man, where are you at that it's all sunny? That's not cool. But I believe that that's the way it should be because they know the lodge, they know all the members, they know who belongs and who doesn't, and they already know everything, and it's giving you the opportunity to be master as they sit out the door, without the door. So that's a way of them publicly saying, look, I'm not the guy. He's the guy.
Mhm.
I'm out here. I'm just making sure that everything's good coming in to the guy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Greetings, brother.
Where you at, bro?
All right, now where are you?
Sun City, El Paso, Texas.
No way. Are
Yes.
you kidding me?
Yes.
Wow. It's just so dark here.
Yeah, it's night.
Far,
Yeah.
far,
What are they, an hour behind over there?
far west side.
So what time is it there?
That's
8:30?
crazy.
It's 8 something, yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you can be in one time zone in the state and another time zone with matching weather in another part of the same state. That's just crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
So before y'all came on, we were talking about the the purpose of Freemasonry in a roundabout way. We were all talking about some things, and then I brought up the quote from Albert Mackey that stated that here, let me pull it back up so I don't get it wrong. Oh man. and now I don't have it. It's gone. So it was basically that oh shoot.
It's okay. I guess I can see it in the video when I.
Right. Yes, there's a replay. The success of masonry depends on the intellect of her disciples. The success of Freemasonry depends, was it solely on, or it depends on the intellect of her disciples. And I firmly believe that, and I know that all of you do, but I just wanted to bring y'all up to speed as to what we were talking about as well. And then we talked a little bit about lodge merging already, and we talked about a lot of things already.
Yeah,
Done a lot of catching up.
Yes, I'm sorry, I missed it. I'm walking my dog. I saw the post. I'm like, well, wait, let me connect really quick. But I'm gonna watch the video after I start from the beginning, so I catch up. You can keep going with your topic.
Awesome.
Well, I had a thought while on vacation, and it's pretty esoteric. So I hope I'm not like taking us like
Go for it.
a different
Let's
rabbit
do
hole.
it. I'm
But
excited.
I was thinking about something we talked about. I believe during some of our Kabbalion episodes we did with the inner circle and just esoteric stuff in general. But I was thinking about how we could possibly be the universe, the all trying to experience itself, right? And I was contemplating as I was out walking one day, why would we have to forget everything, right? Like why do we have to learn about our own nature if that's the truth? And then I was coming kind of around full circle, and this applies to a lot of examples, and this is one specific, and it's really dorky, so Dennis could go and make his face. But I was thinking about an old video game that came out. Came out when I was a kid. It's Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Some of y'all might have played it.
That I never even heard of it. That wasn't around when I had video games.
No, it wasn't. No, this wasn't on Atari.
But you're right.
But it came out.
Come out with Pong.
But the spoiler. I mean, it's a 30-year-old game almost. But spoiler, you are Darth Revan, which is almost like the equivalent of Darth Vader at the time. But you have amnesia, and you don't realize it. And as you are playing the game, you're getting stronger and stronger as you level up and get experience. And ultimately, at the end, you have the revelation, like, oh, I'm Darth Revan. Like, what am I going to do with this knowledge? Am I good or am I evil? And so my point is, like, if you were to play the game with like all this in-game knowledge and all this strength that would come from the adventure and the growth, it'd be a really boring game because you would already know how everything's going to go. And that's as above, so below, right? That really speaks on human nature and probably even the divine nature. In that's why you have to go through with like this. You start the game of life with this amnesia, and you go and you gain experiences and learn things completely independent of what you might already have known if you just went in with that knowledge. And so that growth, that adventure is what it's all about. And there's lots of examples like that. There's movies like that where you have like trying to think, like even like Matrix 1, not the other two, but Matrix 1, where you have Neo and he has no.
You mean Matrix?
The Matrix, but you have Neo. Well, the first Matrix. Is, the first
not
episode.
Matrix 1.
What's Matrix 1?
I don't know. It's something you made up.
Okay.
That is. Well, technically the title is The Matrix, but it's the first Matrix. So
yeah,
you're both right.
The first Matrix. Right. You have Neo, and you starts the movie.
It's been so long. I miss doing that.
He starts the movie, and he has no knowledge of reality, what it really is, or really his true self, his destiny. And by the end of the movie, he has awakened to that. But if you just started that movie, even in 2 and 3, which are the sequel, the trilogy, that Dennis, you still have some kind of character growth, but the majority of the character growth in my opinion, really comes from that first movie where you go from being like a common person to awakening to his true nature. And so you have to have that almost, it's gonna sound, you have to have that hero's journey, and that's the whole point of if the universe is if we are the all, it's just experiencing creation. You have the whole purpose is that hero's journey, and then the knowledge you gain along the way and the experiences you pick up as you go.
So you know what? So if we believe that, right, and we are the universe, so that means you have all the information already within you.
Yes.
So it's not learning, it's it can
Remembering.
be is remembering. Yes.
Yes.
So and in Kabbalah, I don't know if I said this before, but in Kabbalah, they have a teaching that when the baby is about to burn, to give birth, I should say, to give birth, right? Or came alive, an angel came and tapped him in the mouth. And that's the reason we have this here. And that's what they say, right?
Mhm.
That this angel came, tap you, and you forget everything. And your whole journey is getting that information to remember again. So, very interesting your point.
It's
Yes.
interesting. Yeah. Well, and also like sometimes you'll come across people in your life and you feel like immediately like I feel like this person seems familiar, or it seems like I've known them before, or even like deja vu. Well, that's just kind of like a glitch, I guess. Like if you are an emanation of the all, right? You already know everything that's going to happen, right? So when something happens, you're like, oh, I think I've seen this before. Well, yeah, because you already knew what's going to happen. It just kind of slipped through the cracks. I don't know. It was just something I was thinking about on the trip, and struck me as interesting. So I thought I would share with y'all.
Absolutely. Nobody? I'm trying to give people an opportunity.
Awfully quiet.
Yep.
I was gonna jump in and just say, I think that hero's journey is there for a reason, right? Just, I mean, it is that universal principle we see across cultures, across time. Whether that be in the tarot cards with the you start as the fool, right, and then eventually you become the old wise man, and then also like in kung fu movies, how many times is like the master actually the fool, right? He
Yoda
pretends to be the fool.
Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's talking about the old, Asian Chinese movies where the kung fu movies where you would come across this old fool on the road and he ends up being the master at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one. What was that one? It was done in the 80s. That was the same thing, that you thought this guy was this old fool and the whole time, and then at the end he just became the master. And it's like, oh, why didn't I
That's
see
where
that?
a lot of the old ninja movies were made in the 80s.
Yes, such
There was
a
the
great
ninja
time.
craze in the 80s.
It was such a good time to be alive.
Yeah, I was thinking of like Jackie
feel
Chan
so
had
sorry
like
for Justin.
Jackie Chan had a movie, A Drunken Master, and I think his mentor, they thought it was like he came across like a drunk before he started teaching them kung fu.
Yes, that was one too. Yes.
Yeah.
It was that freaking monkey one or whatever. What was that movie?
The Monkey King
yes.
one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which
That's
one?
the one I was thinking about. That's the one that I was thinking about. I can't remember the name of it. The Monkey King, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be the name of it. Well, I'm right now, as a matter of fact, it's kind of interesting that you brought this up, because right now I'm writing a paper on the mind of God. And basically, and I hate to give this up because it's going in the book, right? It's more than just a paper. It's actually a chapter in my book. And it's basically discussing the breakdown of the mind, and then I take it into the mind of God, and then hopefully in this transition you see that it's the same thing, that our mind is the exact same as the mind of God, and ours is fired off of all the electrons and neutrons and oh shoot, it's fired off the neutrons of our of our brain that secretes the different um, emotions and feelings and thoughts and our personalities. And in essence, that's the same thing as the mind of God in the heavens, is the same type of thing is happening, just on a macro version. And because of that, that's how we are. Oh my gosh. And then to tie it all in, I do have to discuss a little bit about the Kabbalion, about some Hermetic principle to be able to help tie all that in. And so I think that's awesome that you were thinking about that, because this whole month I've been thinking about that as well. And I think the all in all, and us being all connected in the all, is just kind of proof of that concept, that these different forces of attraction happen, and multiple people think about the same things at the same time. They're kind of already on that wavelength to be able to have those discussions. Well, it's where synergy is created.
Likewise, to your point, I was having a conversation. If you look at, we've come pretty far as like trying to map the universe, like what we think it looks like based off FAR scans and stuff. And if you take that map that we have so far of what the universe looks like, it looks like a neuron. And
neurons, not neutrons. Neurons.
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I meant. That's what I meant to say. I can't believe it. I've been writing about this, and I can't believe I took 2 days off. So I'm sorry.
But yeah, so likewise, like it's nature takes these patterns and they're repeated. They're like copy and pasted, just on grander and smaller scales. But if you take the universe and look at it, and then shrink it down to like a actual neuron in like the brain, they're very similar. They look the same. And so it's just you see these patterns throughout nature, that things are just being I don't want to say recycled, because, well, I was going to say because the universe is very different than a brain, but maybe it's not. Who knows?
I don't think so. I think it's spot on. It's I think the universe that we see is so micro compared to the ultimate mind of God. But then again, the mind is completely separate from the physical anyways.
And let's just add to that we are using around 10% of it. So imagine if we get the gnosis or the enlightenment to switch to that right side, that is the east side, and get that illumination and use the whole. It should be a great. I don't know if it should be a great experience. Hopefully, we get to experience this one day.
Crank it up to 11.
I wonder if that's what happens when you die, is if that's the part of the brain that takes over. I don't know. I'd like to see studies on that, to see, how that kind of happens in what happens in your brain as you die. To watch the transformation.
That might be the light, the tunnel, maybe. We don't know.
Right. I saw something one time that said that that they do see a lot more electrical activity around the pineal gland, which is what creates a lot of that euphoria. It secretes melatonin in your body, natural melatonin, and gives you comfort and creates a lot of that that peace within. And I wonder if that's what it's doing, is unlocking the other side, and then all of a sudden we have this flood of knowledge, and then our body ceases to exist.
Well, they've done studies that the body actually
figure out how to just take off.
body loses a tiny, like a really small, but it's quantitative, a really small amount of mass when like the actual moment happens and you pass away.
Ounces. It's like a small amount of ounces.
Yeah, but something in there, something departs. Yeah, yeah. That was. I feel like So I was also watching some. I was studying, brushing up on physics, and the new thought behind. So for an atom, you got your positrons, and your electrons and your neutrons, and positrons are positive, neutrons are neutral in charge, and you have electrons that kind of, if you look at like your classic example of an atom, it's like orbiting the atom. But now the belief is shifting towards electrons being not necessarily physical things, but they're vibration on like a quantum field, and so it's energy. Basically, it's not a physical thing; it's energy. And furthermore, that would apply to positrons. Not positrons. I'm sorry, protons. That apply to protons also, being positive charge, but also being like a wave, just going a different direction at time, but it would be a wave. And so, if my point is, if all atoms are made up of vibration, it's just energy on a quantum field, then everything. This is going to tie back. Like the more, and I've said this before, the more we learn about science, the more things tie back, right? That everything is made up of like vibration. There's mass as we know it, matter as we know it. It's just like energy and excitement of this a field that we don't really fully understand in this universe. And so the soul itself would be, in my opinion, it's also energy. And my point where I'm going with this is energy can't be created or destroyed, not by any means that we understand. And so, like when you die, if your soul, if your consciousness consists of energy, it goes somewhere. It has to go somewhere. It has to transfer somewhere else. We just don't understand. There's no two-way conversation, right? So we don't understand where it goes, but something has to happen to it.
I truly believe that we're just a transference of energy when we die. Now, it's interesting that you say that. Now, when I think of what you just said, so we have this point A to point B of spectrum, and there's different frequencies within. And the reason, and so for people who aren't very used to thinking in these thoughts. I mean nowadays everybody, it's kind of common knowledge, but the faster and slower waves, right, is what we're talking about when you're talking about frequency and spectrum. That's what you're talking about is different wavelengths, and so that's basically the speed of vibration. So yes, we are all energy. The reason why I can see you and this computer and everything around me is because they're just slower speeds of vibration. That those frequencies have slowed down to where I can actually focus on it and interpret it as a shape. Whereas, there's others that are so fast that there's just no way I'd ever be able to catch it. A lot like in an atom, I would never be able to see that unless I was able to slow it down to some degree to be able to measure it. If we can't measure it, then we can't tell what's going on, right? So y'all look solid to me, but in all reality, it could just be different layers of spectrum, different frequencies that are just slower than others. And it's pretty common knowledge that the more solid the mass, the slower the atoms move within the mass, right? Like rocks versus sand, or not sand. That's a bad example. Rocks versus water, or water versus air. That's just different levels of frequency, in my opinion. And I think the same same happens with us. But I think that the frequencies are so many more than what we can see that we see it physically, but we can't measure it properly, so we don't really understand that all those frequencies are there.
Well,
So maybe we can
go ahead.
maybe we can say that since we were talking about the death process, maybe that is just switching that frequency, going to another channel that we're not able to see each other anymore, but maybe you're able to see whatever is in that other channel of frequency.
Yes.
Well, there's
moving spectrum. Yes.
there's a certain belief, like I don't know how I feel about it, but like the soul resides in a pineal gland. And if you look at if you slice it in half, it almost looks like the all-seeing eye, right? And so there's a belief that the soul resides there. And so what you're talking about, that excitement that's happening in that pineal gland, is at the moment of death, could be an increase in the vibration.
That's in Buddhism,
What is?
that the soul resonates in the pineal gland.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's
I've
where
heard
the lotus. That's where the lotus is, right? Where when you look at the human body, the lotus flower, the roots are in the groin area or down in the base of the body, and the flower goes up until the blossom is in the pineal gland.
As long as we're on the topic of the pineal gland, it also is associated like the gland itself, almost like a pine cone, looking like a pine cone shape. And if you look at ancient murals and sculptures and like engravings of like deities, talking like Babylonian and even some Egyptian, they're holding this weird little pine cone looking thing in their hands very often, and I'll just put that out there. But
is it a pine cone or an acorn or what? Pine cone.
I think it is a pine cone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, it's not pine cone because like Babylonians didn't know what.
But that's what it looks like.
Yeah. But that excitement that happens around that pineal gland, for vibration to increase, it takes energy, right? So that excitement in that pineal gland can be increasing the energy of your consciousness to a higher vibration.
Nice.
We got it all figured out, guys.
It's either Buddhism or Hinduism. One of the isms has that philosophy. That's what that is.
Maybe Hinduism, but yeah, I've heard it somewhere before. But yeah, just putting that out there.
Now that we've had our talk on the Kabbalion tonight. So for all of you who are enjoying this, that's what we're doing in the inner circle when we're talking about this book that we're reading, the Kabbalion. That's what we're doing, is we're discussing thoughts like this and based off of the chapters that we read. And if you aren't reading it, then and you're not a member of the inner circle, then the Kabbalion by the Three Initiates, that's what we're reading through, and it's a pretty tough book on your own, but unless you're affluent in the mysteries already, but if you have a group of guys that you can visit with, or a group of people you can visit with about it, it's always a good time.
And we're on chapter 6 now, aren't we? And I think we need to maybe next weekend talk about it, don't we?
Yeah, next weekend's the beginning of the month. Is that the beginning of the month?
It's the end of the month.
We do it on the beginning, the first. Yeah. Well, no, not next weekend. The weekend after that.
So chapter 6 next weekend. The weekend after this.
Yes.
All right. So that'd be what are we doing that on the 6th? We usually do it on the Sunday.
Yes.
So that'd be the 6th of July.
That's how I have it. How about you guys? Are we the only ones doing this anymore?
No.
Are we the only ones left?
We have people that watch it after and they can't make it.
Right.
Last time was kind of weird. We had to shake it up because I was leaving early. Yeah, so if you're interested in these kind of conversations, there's a join button right below the video. You click that, you can join the inner circle. You also get access to all of our videos for like the last 2 or 3 years ad-free. So you get ad-free videos, you get access to Inner Circle on Facebook, you get access to our Kabbalion conversations and all that fun stuff. So that would be just a great way to support us, because this boat costs money to row.
And you get to join on these Sunday night calls, whether they're the book club or not, too.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yes.
We need to see if we
Yes.
can get Chris Williams back for the next one, because he had a lot of insight for chapter 1.
Yeah. I can contact Brad too.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, Brad can join. That'd be good.
But they're doing their own show right now. It's called the Masonic Shelf, and it is awesome.
Well, they
And
could still come talk on our level.
for any of you brothers who don't know, Jason Reichenberg here is the producer of the Masonic Shelf, but the talent is Brad Kohenke and Chris Williams. So
It's all about the production. That's all it is.
yeah, you make them look good,
Sounds
which
like
is hard
something.
to do.
Sounds like
They're
something
old
a
guys,
producer would say.
right? But the Masonic Shelf is a very good Masonic podcast and YouTube channel that has recently begun, and I encourage everyone to go see it. In fact, I love their debut video on. In fact, it's this book right here, Observing the Craft.
Oh, that's a good one.
One of the best books out there. And if you're new to Masonry, I strongly recommend that you
Yeah.
look at that. I'm
Yeah,
not the
mine
only
over
one with books at arm's length, man. That's awesome. You just made my days. You know,
Yeah,
that's
and it's bookmarked extensively.
yes. You know, brothers, if you're going to be worshipful master of any lodge, that's the book oh my goodness. That's the book you ought to have as worshipful master of any lodge is Observing the Craft.
Every Master Mason should get that, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, another one now Jason and I were talking about this earlier. Let's move on to some books, because we hadn't talked about our favorite books lately. I've got a brother that's going to join the Scottish Rite. Our reunion is in November this year in San Antonio, and the reason why is because we have the Philharmonic with us now, and so scheduling was a little bit tough this year, so we ended up scheduling in November. However, or not however, but so I had a brother that was recently made a Master Mason that wants to join the Scottish Rite. Not interested in the other bodies. That's what he's interested in. He wants to be a part of the University of Freemasonry. So he asked me. He's come to me and asked about different books since he's become a master, and you know, he asked me which version of Morals and Dogma I have, and things like that, and then he asked me, you know, what should I read before I do the degrees? And I told him, he had a picture of the Bridge to Light and said, should I read this or should I read this? And he's buying the annotated version of Morals and Dogma.
Don't they give that in San Antonio? Did they give Bridge to Light?
Yeah. And so I told him, if you want to buy anything, buy Esoterica by Albert Pike, because then you'll start to learn how to read Pike through something that you already know. You've already been through those degrees, and now you can enrich yourself in the interpretation of those degrees. Yes. See there, man, Scott, I miss you. Golly. The rest of you guys can just go home. It'll just be me and Scott.
Hey,
Yeah,
this is another good one. This is another good Scottish Rite right here. See if I can get it on there.
Oh, The Journey of the Elu. Yes.
And that's by Bob Davis.
Yes. Bob Davis is past Grand Master up in Oklahoma, for all you brothers who don't know.
Yeah, and those that book, I had that one as well, and then I've got Esoterica, or I've got obviously got Morals and Dogma, but those are great to read after you go through the degree.
Yes.
But Dennis's point, like if you read Esoterica after going through Master Mason, you get used to basically you get used to Pike's style and how he thinks about things and the symbolism that he ascribes to it, because he has some quite choice words on how how certain symbols have been interpreted, and he does not hold back on what he thinks is right or wrong or anything like that. But
That's Esoterica.
Esoterica, very very fascinating,
with
and
a K.
it was not a book that he intended to publish.
Right.
He
It was
had-
never. Yeah.
Yeah, he was what was the word? I guess it convinced finally that you really should publish this at some point, because if you die and you don't publish it, like all of these lessons that you are verbally instructing people on are going to be lost. And so he was finally convinced, but he had never, his intention was never for Esoterica to be published. And I think Arturo Torres has said that
Yeah.
he got a lot of grief for basically republishing it and adding
Annotating. Yes.
annotating and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really a fascinating book. And yeah,
Why did he get grief for doing that?
well, because you know, there's the whole bit about, well, you're giving away, because Pike does not shy away from any of these secrets. Like he goes into the entire
Neither did Mackie. They were two peas in a pod.
right.
He got it from his mentor.
So a lot of, there's some that are out there like, this shouldn't be published and this is going too far and blah 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 and stuff like that. But whatever. You could do a 3-minute search on Google and find out all of the secrets. That's not the point. But yeah, you get used. It's a very when Dennis said that, it made perfect sense. And I probably will start, if anybody is thinking about joining the Scottish Rite and they want to learn ahead of time, don't go and pick up Morals and Dogma. It's you need to wait until after the degrees and when you can get into a CME class and discuss it with others. But Esoterica that's a great one to figure out how Pike thinks, and it probably would make more sense when you see the degrees on what he's trying to convey.
It's like a $150 book.
What?
Esoterica. I'm looking on Amazon. I don't have a copy. The only copy that I
Well,
can
you
find
can
is
get it off the Scottish Rite Southern Jurisdiction website as well
look
for
at that.
like 30.
Okay, yeah, this one's Arturo's version.
Well,
I
it is
don't want-
Arturo's on the Southern Jurisdiction as well.
Well,
And-
I
but
think they also I think I got it from the Scottish Research Society.
Yes. No,
No?
Sounds like a great
you bought
opportunity
it, you bought it
to
when
do
you
some
did the Master
reseller.
Craftsman.
Yes, you are correct. Never mind. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. If you go through the Master Craftsman class for the Scottish Rite, then you need to buy it as well. And now you can do an either or to where you purchase with or without a book. And so you probably purchased it with your class.
Let's see.
Yes.
But I remember, yeah.
I was testing you. You're right.
I'm always right, Jason. What are you talking about? I can't remember the last time I was wrong. But I might be mistaken.
Sorry, I'm looking for that book on their website just to see how much it is on there.
Making my pineal gland hurt.
Yeah, it's $55 on their website.
Yeah, so somebody bought it and then they're just trying to resell it.
Well, it's a
and make a
different.
buck.
It looks different. The image is different.
Oh, well, then they probably
it's a
took
hard
it
copy.
off of the.
Sorry.
Well,
go
mine's a hard copy.
Here's one Pete recommended to me.
Huh. I
It's
hadn't seen
really-
that one.
It's really dense.
I'll be right back.
How,
We'll keep it
how,
right here.
how big is the book? Interesting.
Yeah, it's he's the author's a British Freemason, but I mean it's got a lot of good info. But I'm looking more I'm looking at this more like um, a reference book or encyclopedia that you kind of keep on the shelf and then pull it off every now and then, read through a little bit of it. It's the information in it is very dense,
What's
but it's
the
good.
how far have you got on it? Like, can you tell us what's about?
It's about the it's a reference book. It's like for example, just opening to the contents. Chapter 4 is lodge symbols. It has the pillars, the letter G and blazing stars, pentagram, the jewels, the ladder, point within a circle, the heart, tools of the craft, on the square, and then the genesis of Freemasonry, the charges. Um, yeah, and it goes into uh,
Well, that's one I want.
yeah,
That for sure. That
this
sounds
one's
good.
like it's really man, it's really dense.
Freemasonry, the reality. Is that what you said it was called?
Yeah, Tobias Churton.
Is this the one that you're talking about, Justin? The one
That's
that's
Esoterica.
155? Yeah.
No, it didn't look like that. No.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Then somebody probably got a digital copy of it and then had somebody overseas put it in book form for them. Because unless it's the original,
I don't know. It has like I don't
I
have it
haven't
open
seen the
anymore.
original, but I doubt the original is going to be on Amazon.
It's got an image of. Let me pull it back up. Esoterica. Albert Pike English. So it's got the square and compass with the all-seeing eye in the middle, no G, and then like the oh dude, I'm just totally blanking out. Um, Pythagorean triangle laid out on the left. January 1st, 2005. It's a hard copy too.
Huh. Yeah, that's what leads me to believe that it's been printed somewhere else overseas. One of those companies that'll print whatever you want as long as you have the digital copy of it.
Yeah. Could be.
They'll make those hardback covers.
Symbolism
could-
of the Blue Degrees of Freemasonry, Albert Pike's Esoterica by Arturo de Hoyos. But, yeah, I don't know.
What?
I think I got mine from the Scottish Rite.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like
Outside the
55
Master
bucks as
Craftsman.
compared to 150. Yeah, I need to do that Master Craftsman sometime. Yeah, the Freemason reality looks good too, though. I'm gonna add that to my list.
It's a good read. It's just packed really dense, man.
Did you get more bang for your buck?
Mm-hmm.
I think something's wrong with this. I'm looking at this ad that you're looking at. It's in purple.
Mm-hmm.
You notice how everything's off center?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, that seems like that may be a fraud.
I thought it was
This
strange.
is- Yeah.
Yeah.
And 150
Because-
bucks for it's kind of weird.
The
I'm gonna jump
other.
off here, guys. Y'all have a good one.
You can
All right,
get,
have a great one, Scott. Take
Good
care.
seeing y'all guys.
It's good seeing you. Here's another good one. The Masonic pageant. Now that's the Northern Masonic jurisdiction, Scottish Rite degrees, which is really cool. I say it's really cool. It's cool to read. It's not. I like our degrees better, but
You're not biased at all.
their stories are kind of pop culture America of that era back then.
Oh, how lame.
Yeah, it's all, yeah. But it's interesting to try to to pull the same ideas out of those degrees. I have a hard time. I have a hard time matching Kabbalah with that. It's easier to get it from our degree system.
We have someone in chat asking about Austin, Texas lodges that we recommend. Yeah, Austin 12, that's a good lodge. I don't really know too many Austin lodges. That's more.
Do what? I'm
Someone,
sorry.
someone in chat was asking for a recommendation for lodges in Austin.
Austin 12.
Yeah, Austin 12.
I would definitely go to Austin 12. What are they? What, it depends on the experience they're looking for, also. But I would say that's a good one.
Well, it's worth at least checking out. And if it's not your vibe, then it's just not your vibe. But yeah, that's the first one that came to mind for me too. It's a
Well,
good
and
group,
there's
guys.
yeah, and there's other lodges as well. I can't think of the names right off the top of my head. Here, hold on. I'll tell you. He's wanting to join Freemasonry.
I don't know. Are you wanting to here? Let me turn off the sound here. There. I'm inquiring. I mean, I'd probably suggest at least going and check out Austin either way. Austin 12.
Right. The other one that I was thinking about is Parsons Lodge. And then there's several lodges in Austin, but Parsons or Austin 12 are the two that I would go to. If I was going to go to a lodge in Austin, it would be Parsons or Austin 12.
He says he's an EA.
Because of the members that I know.
Yeah, he's an EA.
EA where?
Yeah,
In
where?
Austin?
I don't know where. You just said EA.
And are you looking to visit lodges or move your membership to a different lodge?
He says he's relocating. Trying to figure
Oh,
out.
okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
considering relocation. I don't know where his home lodge is. 66, whatever one that is.
Lodge 66.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Man, I'm getting such a headache. Is anyone else affected by the frickin' dust coming in from
Oh yeah,
Africa?
yeah. Well, no, the smoke from Canada when I was up, like that gave me like a terrible headache for several days.
Smoke from Canada, the dust from the Sahara. I mean, it's coming from both directions. Here, it's just been raining every other day, and then we've got mold and mildew going on, and oh my gosh, it's just killing me.
This has been the wettest summer I think I ever remember. It's been wild.
I was thinking about that today. The Here in South Texas, I mean, I think I think our aquifers are finally full, but it's by this time in South Texas, usually everything's yellow. And here I am having to mow every 2 days because I think it's over, but it happens that night when I'm asleep. It's like the rain fairy comes and surprises me with a new batch of rain.
Yeah, my yard is lush still. It's crazy. Well, while you're looking that up, Dennis, let's go ahead and go into our final thoughts, and then that will get us done probably around 10:30 or so.
Well, I'll have to look it up to find 66 since
Yeah.
there's no city. But yeah, I'll have to go into our system to look it up.
So
If it's in Texas.
yeah, I don't know. 66 is all I got.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, Daniel, Jason, y'all got anything you want to share before we wrap up tonight?
Man, Jason got old. He went black and white.
Oh, he says it's out of state.
I just just kind of a follow up. We did have the Esoteric Summit. It went pretty well. There was, I think, probably the most poignant moment for me was so my son attended. I bought him a ticket and everything. He didn't go for free. I bought him a ticket. But so TJ Brumfeld did two sections actually on the Kabbalah, and that was the one my son actually started taking pictures of the presentation because he wanted to reference it a little bit later,
Nice.
For a 19-year-old who's going to college. I mean, he's got a lot of things that he could be thinking about and stuff like that. So it was good to see him not just sitting there just because Dad told him to be there. That he actually found something worthwhile and interesting and everything. So overall, it was a good summit. So much so that we are doing it again next year.
Good.
June 13th, 2026 at Guadalupe Lodge. It's going to be a little bit easier for me to kind of handle the venue and some other things and stuff. So, but I already have the lineup of speakers. I'm not at liberty to announce it yet, but it will be some guys that and then I actually have a one speaker who is I call a dark horse. So somebody that I've talked to a couple different people, but somebody that we know is knowledgeable, that we know can do a good presentation, but just has not had the opportunity. So somebody basically just an unknown, not like a Dennis Yates or Justin Jones. But and I think moving forward, if this goes well, I think I think it would be something I'd like to try and keep try and find that guy out there that is interested and is knowledgeable and does good work, but just has not been given that opportunity. And so I think I'd like to try and do that. We'll see how it goes, but for certain it'll be a lineup that more in Texas are going to recognize this year. The guys that we had this year, while they have national followings, the guys in Texas just I don't think they really understood who they were. So it's going to be more of a mix. There's going to be half guys from out of the state, and then other guys that guys that you guys like seeing a lot. So anyway, look for more information come out.
Well, that's exciting.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, that is good.
I like
Now,
hearing
next
it.
year,
Don't talk to me about financials. We're
hopefully
gonna,
next year I'll be able
we're gonna
to.
set that to a side and to say it was a great event.
June 13th.
June 13th, 2026.
Okay, let me put it down now.
It's
So
still
that-
it's still going to be called the San Antonio Esoteric Summit, but it will actually be in Seguin.
Okay.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm typing.
Daniel,
Nice.
Daniel, you got anything?
I just add, I think there's always more light to seek. That's all I got for tonight. Just to keep finding what's of interest and what will bring you more light and knowledge.
Love it.
Hey, Jason. You got me this time. You have one ticket sold.
Great. And yeah, so there's one unknown, and then the other 5 slots are filled by Jason Riker. No, I'm just
Oh, well then can I get a refund? Can I get a refund on that commitment?
Well, I'll say for my final thoughts, and I'll keep mine short. I'm pretty tired. Um, it's
Pretty
a
millennial.
I guess, but it's good to see y'all again. It's good to have so many people turning up. Appreciate y'all's patience while I've been out of state, and like I said, I had lots of time to think about a lot of things, and so hopefully some of that reflected tonight because I mean took a lot of long walks once my kids went to sleep out in the middle of nowhere. I mean that place is, by the way, Michigan, like the Upper Peninsula, it is a no man's land. Like I thought the internet would be bad. I didn't realize it was like non-existent. Like
Sounds like where I live.
I didn't realize how much time I spent on my phone until I kept trying to look at like Facebook and there's nothing going on. It's like this is the same stuff that's been there for 2 weeks. And so if I've been bad with communication these last few weeks, I do apologize to everybody. I think I caught up on everything, but yeah. So and like I was saying before, you got on here, Dennis. Like I was looking up in that area, Masonic lodges, and Michigan's like there's nothing in that area. There's nothing, and my toxic trait was like, man, I could move to Michigan. I could fix this. I could help these guys, but I'm not moving up there anytime at all. Every town has a American Legion though, so maybe if they allowed alcohol in their Masonic lodges, they'd see a resurgence of membership. That's what they do up there. They snow ski and snow ski and drink and hunt. That's about all there is up there.
That's awesome. Well, there could be worse ways to live, right?
I guess so, yeah. But that's all I have. I appreciate all y'all.
What you got, Daniel? Did Daniel already go?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I must have been typing in an address when Daniel was speaking. I apologize.
Yep, I made it short and sweet, Dennis. Just seek additional light. That's it.
Oh, that's right.
For tonight.
Right. I did hear you say that. Okay.
It was a pretty light conversation.
Pretty light conversation.
Yeah.
I like to keep it light.
Yes. Yes. Well, Daniel, you're the light of my life. That's for sure. Golly, we went in so many different directions, but they all point to one thing: education, the intellect. You know, a lot of people in Freemasonry have built their lives around faith. Most of your members are church-going members in some way, shape, or form. No specific church, required, whatever. Every member has to believe in God. So there's a certain aspect of faith that comes with being a Freemason. I think what we forget to remember, which I have learned through Freemasonry, now that's it. Do all the degrees say this outright? No, they don't. But one of the conclusions that I've come to is that our soul is a combination of our intellect and spirit. So that spark that we were talking about earlier, that electric energy that we are created of, that we are a part of, that combined with our intellect, our mind, creates our soul. That's our personal identifier in this thing that we call life and death, in just this thing. We can call it many things. We can just call it the thing, the all in the all, the all in all, the all. We're all part of it. And that's our unique identifier. I never would have come about that understanding without this journey. And this journey did not start with that same understanding. This journey started thinking that, the most important thing in Masonry was, green beans and getting through the line. Didn't know that we were supposed to learn other stuff until I got to know a few great mentors and Masons. And then I realized that there are circles within the craft that understand what's going on, who we are and what we are. And not that any one of us can define that for any other person, but the overwhelming understanding is that we are men of intellect that are trying to learn more to increase the value of our souls, to increase the value of who we are in this world and outside of our world. If you join Freemasonry and you are not getting that experience and that's what you were looking for, let us know. We can help you. We all are here because we felt that way in our own right. Not that there's anything wrong with the lodges that we come from. Not that there's anything wrong with the brothers that we know. But we just weren't having our cups filled. And so Justin and I got on the show and we started talking, and man, we just clicked. And then after a while, we kept interviewing other people and had a great time. And then we realized, you know what? We need an inner circle. We need to create this inner circle for all those guys that are on an island out there, because that's how it feels, like you're all alone on an island and you don't know what to do or where to go. And many times those brothers drop out. They leave the fraternity. And that's the worst thing for the fraternity, because like Albert Mackey says, the greatest success in Freemasonry is going to depend on its disciples. And those are us. Those are you. Those are me. Those are us. And so if we're not seeking out the people that we want to be like, if we're not seeking out relationships to where you can have good, meaningful conversations with men of similar character and understanding in life, then we're missing the boat. We're going to stay on that island and we're going to miss the boat. So if you're out there on that island, I don't want you to miss the boat. Come on over to Masonic Improvement. We're happy to have you. If you're not a member of Freemasonry and this is what you've been looking for, and I've got to tell you right now, we're in a renaissance. Justin and I have been talking about this for years, and we are actually in it. We said it was coming. We said that we're encroaching upon it, and now we are in it. And the young men that are coming in, well, I'm not even going to say young men. The men that are coming in the door today are men who are looking for that intellectual charge that they're missing in everyday life, because everyday life is bringing them a system of morality based off of likes and dislikes on Facebook and other social media platforms. Just like this show, we survive on your likes and dislikes. And so, the more you like us, the better we do, the more capable we are. We're still using technology I'm not really happy with because we haven't hit that next level yet. Once we get there, we'll get boom mics like the cool kids. Just kidding. I don't know where it goes. But the point of this is that this is a platform for men of good character who want to improve in their intellect and spirit. This fills my spiritual cup doing this, because while this is not a church, we talk about things that are godly. I'm telling you, while it is not a church and we do not preach any particular gospel. We talk about things that are godly within our inner circles. Is that what we talk about all the time at lodges? Nope. You've heard us bitch about it several times. If you would like to get beyond that experience, get into this experience, come on over. We're happy to have you. Without any further ado, we'll wrap this thing up. Justin, I missed you. I'm glad you're back. I missed the show. You guys are my closest friends, and I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're around. For all you others out there, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for liking us. Go ahead and share us as well if you find value in what we do, because we're not here to just keep it a secret to ourselves. If we wanted to do that, then we would have just stayed in our lodge. So if you think what we have to say is good, share it with somebody. Like it and share. Like it and share. That's what everybody else says. So I'm going to say it too. Otherwise, thank you for coming on the show. Keep it between the points.
Later, y'all.
Get you all choked up there, Justin.
Yeah.
That